Hi everyone. In this video, I will talk about how to acquire a language in a very simple way. Remember again, a lot of people are struggling, especially when learning a new language. And this could be ascribed to a lot of reasons. For example, their linguistic background, or they don't have enough exposure to the target language they are trying to understand or they're trying to acquire. And that's why when we are learning a language, we need to exert more effort and also to have more time working on this language. We also need to keep in mind that we have a lot of factors that work against our development and processing of this new language. For example, your age. Like the younger you start to learn the language, the better your proficiency and your competence in the target language is gonna be. And also, the psychological factor, or what is known in the research as the psychological filters. Like when we are learning a language at a very young age, when we just we can make mistakes. Look at how students in the kindergarten, even in grade one or grade two, they make mistakes and also they laugh about it. Everyone, they are not embarrassed, and also they don't have a lot of ego or a lot of self image that they care about. But when people make it to the grade 10 or grade 12, just like they start to get into the teens area or the teens period, and the teenager kind of self-image started to take shape, and also they care so much about it, and they might just refrain from practicing this language because they're afraid that people are gonna say, oh, they are not good enough, or the way they are speaking with heavy accent is not good enough, or they are not good English learner, or this they are not good language learner. And all of these factors are in fact stand in our ways when we start to learn a new language. So when you teach the language, you also should be aware of the age of your students or the nature of your audience and also the linguistic background. And so to give you a pretty good, a very clear idea on what I mean by the impact of the linguistic background. It's the idea that when you learn a language that is quite similar to your first language, the potential of being able to speak this language faster is so high because again you might ended up transferring a lot of grammar, a lot of words. Like let's say for example I'm learning Italian and my first language is let's say English. So if you come across a word like music and music, you know what it refers to, or even English and French, or even Arabic and Hebrew, or Chinese and Japanese. So how close and how similar the two languages are is just impacting the way you're learning this language. And another factor that also you should be aware of is the idea of your processing of the language. Like if you are just reading let's say, for example, you're learning Spanish, and every day you decide to read a short story in Spanish. Yes, that's going to be useful, but also you need to act upon reading in order to just to keep it, to retain this information for a long time period, because you ended up using it or losing it. So remember this like a kind of thing that we used to hear a lot from our teachers back in the school when they said use it or lose it. So all of these factors we should be aware of because that's going to impact the way we are learning the language, and also they are going to impact our performance in this language. So all of these, if we try to learn a new language, we should keep all of these factors in mind because they are going to impact the way you're speaking that language. I hope that makes sense, and stay tuned for other short snippet of how to acquire and be proficient and competent in learning any language. You guys.